Alright, what's up everybody? Fearless time, fearless time, fearless time. If you like videos like this, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Okay, so this is my opinion. Be mad at me over my opinion. I'm gonna have some honorable mentions, hopefully that people will understand my reasoning. You know. I'm just gonna hop into it now. Now that disclaimer's over. Honorable mentions. We're gonna put a bunch in here. We're gonna put a bunch in here in no order. I mean, let's just get the elephant out the room. This Gohan right here, uh, super good. Active skill, super well. Standby skill, very good. Does decent damage, guards, and standby. He gets damage reduction and all that. But that's when he's in the standby. When he does his actual standby finish, then he's dropping 99 million damage or whatever. I think that's not good enough, in my opinion. Can't go in slot 1. It is what it is. His leader skill is Kamehameha, which is very good, but, it is what it is, bro. He's just not times than a lot of other characters. Um, so let's just move on from that. Goku and Vegeta. Vegeta's still super good, and I think he's only getting better. Is he on my top 10? No. If anything, he would be here, but he's not. Janemba in here. Janemba, super good tank. Slot 1 material. Slot 2 material. He gets an extra super. Yeah, it is what it is. We know what he does by now. Let's try and make this fact. UI Goku, very good character. He has a great domain, but the problem with him is now that more and more bosses are being able to nullify evasion, his strategy is slowly decreasing in effectiveness. So, that's why he's there. Tech Vegeta, grade 8, super good. Super, super, super good. I'm gonna make a note right here. You heard it first here. Giant 8 power with all the stuff that they're getting. He's very, very good character. Slot 1 material. Next to Super Saiyan 3 Goku, or Saiyan 4 Goku, as I should say. He gets an extra 10% and he gets buffed from Goku. Just something to take note of. 70% damage reduction is to Jiren. Now, another thing about Jiren, this is in no order. Like, I could put both of them in 10, but that's just ridiculous. There is one character that I'm putting in the same slot, and it's not the one you think. Jiren is extremely good, but I think he strives mostly on his own team. And Universal Survival Saga, that's basically, I'm not going to talk more. Standby still is super good. He's a good tank, blah, blah, blah. Very good character. All because, I just want to take a note here, all because they're in opposite. Super good. Remember, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of characters in Dokkan. Well, because you see them down here or not even mentioned doesn't mean that they're not good. Some of them are not good, like Trunks and Goten. But, it is what it is. Every character has their chance to shine. But these, I just can't put in top 10 because of my reasoning and opinion. So please let me have that. I'm also going to throw Frieza in here. They're not top 10 material at all, especially this Goku. This Goku, honestly, there's arguments for him not to even be here. Mind you, he has to be in slot 1 to be very effective. But after a while, after he's done stacking a lot, yeah, you probably could get away with throwing him in slot 1 eventually. But turn 1, like, he'll die more times than Frieza. Frieza brings a lot to the extreme. And Frieza's on a lot of teams. They're both on a lot of teams. But I think Frieza you're going to use him way more than this Goku. But I do enjoy using both of them. They're both good. Now let's move on to the next category. Next character. I'm going to put this Vegeta here. I'm going to actually put both of them here. These are good characters. Goku is in no order, remember. This UI Goku is very good, but like I just mentioned, the bosses are able to get out of evading. So, you're more likely to get hit. Now, mind you, they have good defense, especially this guy. But remember, he needs to evade to boost stats. So as long as he's not evading, he doesn't get stats. Okay, so let's move on. Mention now, mind you, this Vegeta and this Goku, um, they are not as good. And not this Goku, this Goku. These two are not as good as everyone else, but I do enjoy using them. They're very fun to use, and I think that should be a counter for, what they bring to their team. Obviously, you want him on the Namek team, want him on Universal Survival Saga. They're just good characters on their own team. Jiren too, but Jiren brings more than both of them. Um, so let's hop into the top 10 now. There are two more characters. This Gogeta right here, he's not in the top 10. I'm gonna throw the other one in here. Angel Vegeta, not in top 10. Um, this Gogeta, same thing. He can get clapped. If the enemy can hit you and nullify your evasion, he's cooked. Once he goes Super Saiyan Blue, his main strength is that he can evade. I don't know how it would work if he used his active skill, if he would still be able to evade or not. But it is what it is. I mean, he's a great character, but he's definitely not top 10 in my opinion. This Angel Vegeta, I think he's good on the teams that he's on. He can give the team extra defense. I like that. And his active skill, he could drop big damage. But, he's good on his own team. I just think he's a really, really great character. I do enjoy using both of them. So let's just hop straight into number 10. This was hard for me to decide on. This Gohan, I'm gonna put here. Maybe some people will hate, and yeah, I think Gogeta is better than him. But please understand, Gohan brings way more defense than him. He does not need to dodge. He has the 20% damage reduction. He's doing triple supers off the gate up to fucking 8 or 9. He does a lot of things immediately. When he takes a hit, he gets increased defense. On turn 5, he's able to drop his active skill, the Father-Son Kamehameha. Extremely powerful. I have him at 55%. He's dropping 30, 40 million on the regular. If he does his active skill, it's automatically hitting 40, 50 million. And it's a crit guaranteed. And then all the other attacks on the same turn are crits. He does not struggle for ki, so he'll be continuously dropping that one extremely strong attack every turn for 30 million minimum. Very good character, he's solid. Honestly, if he had more damage reduction, he would be crazy. But yeah, he's my number 10. I'm gonna try and make this very short because I already recorded this one time. But let me move on to number 9. And number 9 is going to this LR trio. I use them all the time. Their leader skill is top of the line. Their leader skill is very good. They can boost the team. They could be in slot 3 or slot 1. Now, mind you, in slot 1, I've seen them take a lot of damage. So that's another thing we got to talk about. They do need a lot of ki. Now, if they do get a lot of ki, they could probably tank many, many, many strong hits in slot 1. But they do take damage, okay? They're not invincible. I mean, in lower tier fights, yes, they are invincible. They do multiple supers. They're super effective against all types. They provide their own ki. That's another big thing. Anyone that wants ki is good for them. So I think that's good. Standby skill is extremely powerful. He even gets more tanky. Then he drops Goku Punch. They won this together or whatever. Standby skill. Very good character all around. And I think they're worthy of number 9. Go ahead and I'm gonna put the Broly's here. I'm gonna put them both here. There's too many characters that are fighting for the competition. I think honestly these guys, maybe this one could be better depending on who you ask. Tech Broly, turn 1, he has 90% damage reduction. He goes crazy on turn 1. He's able to give his team a boost on turn 1 or turn 2 or 3 depending on which slot he's in. But primarily you want him in turn 1 for that first, good turn to get you rolling. Then he transforms, he gets that 7 damage reduction. But he only gets that for like 3 turns. Just 3 turns. And after that 3 turns is over, he can take damage. He can take damage. You can also use him in World Tournament, by the way. Very good character. Um, he could take damage. And this Int Broly, he has the domain. Very good. He has 60% damage reduction non-conditional. I think that's extremely powerful. Um, he can increase his attack by 100% on just his super effect alone. Um, he has a revive. The revive is so good. And when he does revive, he gets even stronger. And on top of all that, he can recover HP off key. I think it's 2% per key. So if he gets 10 key, that's 20%. Like very, very, very. And that is, yeah, I'm putting it together. Some people would be like, oh, he has to be in spot 7. But I think that you can't, you know, they ultimately do the same thing. In a shorter fight, sure, this Broly is better. Like, it could be like this, but, like, you know, he gets this, if the fight prolongs, which is gonna start happening, there are gonna be more characters that are very strong. Like, look at that baby Vegeta fight in Ultimate Clash, the Great Ape Monkey. That dude has like 10 billion HP. Like, he's losing that buff. And I think it's gonna continue to go down. I do think this Int Broly could potentially be better. He has non-conditional damage reduction. Mind you, the other one is also super, his active skill. He gives himself an extra buff, and that buff is for the rest of the battle. Very good, very good. Let's move on to the next one. And the next one is, drumroll, is Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Super Saiyan 3 Goku. The reason why I'm putting him here, and yes, he is above them, I believe. He goes on so many teams. Not only that, he supports his teams. He has 70% chance to dodge. Now, I just got done mentioning multiple times about bosses being able to nullify your evasion, which is a big deal. So if this guy is stuck in slot 1, guess what? He's probably getting clapped up. These guys, you know, these three, they're pretty good in slot 1, but when he goes into Great Ape, which is incredibly easy to do, you get a free turn, and it's not automatic. Like, you can choose when to do it. If you want to keep him in slot 1 and go for the RNG evade, you can do that. But then you could transform when you really think you're in trouble. You can take that turn away. And let's say that there's a character, a boss, that's about to attack him 10 times in slot 1. You activate his Great Ape, it skips their turn. Once he goes into Great Ape, their attacks, it basically skips their turn. They attack, they get, you know, he can't die while he's in Great Ape. And then on the following turn, which is going to be the same turn, by the way. It's the same turn. So you basically get a free turn of free damage, and then he comes back as Super Saiyan for Goku. He's the one that gives the 40% to attack and defense, and 10% damage reduction. And that damage reduction is so good. Not only that, he can drop an extra super attack for free. And for the first 4 or 5 turns, I can't remember which one top of my head, he does guaranteed crits. He drops, I have him at 50, I have him at 69%. He could easily drop 20 million attack. Instant, like, once he transforms, 20 million. That's a lot. That's a lot. And remember I said before, Giant Ape power is looking crazy, because guess what? Guy has 60% damage reduction in slot 1, and if he's next to this guy, now he has 70%. And now he has an extra defensive buff. Okay? Starting to think about Giant Ape power is coming up crazy. Okay, so that's Super Saiyan 3 Goku and why I have him there. Very good character. Can he go in slot 1? No. He does a lot of damage. Crits. Backs his attack and defense. Guaranteed extra. I just wish he had a little more damage reduction. but just for the fact that he's able to give everyone else damage reduction, including himself, uh, by 10, which is not a lot, but it's, adding on. He's an incredible support character, so that's why I have him in number 7. Number 6 is going to be Tech Super Saiyan 3. This is just a phenomenal character. Just do it like he's a phenomenal character. He's so strong. He's good defense. He can go in slot 1. His active skill is very good. He's entertaining to watch. He performs well. Did I mention that he could go in slot 1? He's on so many teams, like so many teams, and he basically does what this Tech Broly does. Not to 90%, but what he does is ultimately gonna last you longer than what Tech Broly. He's so good, so good. Very, very good characters, and not to mention Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. I'm sure that he's gonna be the leader when he comes out for Daima. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta is gonna lead Super Saiyan 3. I'm just gonna say it now. He is going to lead that category. He's just so good. If you're considering on spending a stone on somebody, consider spending it on him. I chose Tech Broly because my Broly team was nearly complete and I needed him to complete. Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, honestly, I think is better than this Broly, and incredibly good. Can't go wrong. So we're at the top 5 right now, and I'm going to put Beast on. Everybody knows what he does. Mind you, the bosses can nullify your evasion, but everything else, he does basically everything. He hits hard, he can evade, he does damage reduction, he can be in slot 1, he stacks his ki. At 24 ki, he gets 20% damage reduction. He's crazy. He's only getting better, and the more characters that can't go in slot 1, the longer he's going to stay on this list. And he's just an all-around good character, slot 1 material. I was using him the other day, and I didn't even have him on the category, and he was tanking. He took less damage than this trio. I can confidently say my top 4. This is number 4, Super Saiyan Gods. Their EZA is crazy. On their first turn, they can drop like 5 supers, maybe 6 supers. They drop a lot of supers and they stack. 50% stack. On their first turn, they have 77% damage reduction, and I think that's crazy in itself. They bring a lot turn 1. And then when they transform, is where I have an issue with them. They double orb change. I don't like that. Now, Tech, Cell, and Int Gohan, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, they double orb change, but they double orb change a certain color. They do rainbow orbs. I understand they need rainbow orbs. They also need ki. That's like, I feel like their passive skill is conflicting with itself. Like, they want solid color E. They want solid color ki. And they also want rainbow keys. So, like, my thing is, like, when are you ever really getting 5 rainbow keysters? I feel like that is, like, crazy in itself. That's not easy. And mind you, it only happens for 4 turns. But at the same time, that's where, like, let's say you get 5 rainbow keysters. Do you really think there's going to be a whole line of solid color spheres on that one of those lines? No. Maybe there'll be 2, maybe there'll be 3. So it'll be 5 plus the 3 or 5 plus the 2. So most likely you're looking at them having minimum 50% boost to their attack and defense when they get ki, if they're all rainbow. Now, besides that, on the regular, you're going to see 2 rainbows, maybe. That's on a normal basis. 4 and 5. 4 is more likely than 5, but getting the rest of the ki is not, that's just so hard to do. Unless you have, like, Gogeta on your team that's forcing everything to be, and they're already doing double. So, like, for me, I don't think having rainbow ki all over the screen is good. Ultimately, I want them to get 10 key a turn. So I would rather them take the colored key and do that instead of being, and the bosses, like, that's another thing. The bosses are disabling evasion. So, like, their whole thing is evasion. Now, mind you, don't get it twisted. They could get to like 4 or 5 million defense. They can do it. But, they have to stack to get that. You know? If you have them, like, you're gonna have them slot 1 and on the first turn, of course. But then after that, they stack, they stack. When they transform, then they lose half of their ability to a boss that, hits them automatically. I think that's a huge downside to them. Now their stats are very good. They're very good. I think they're number 4 on my list. Um, I'm gonna get some hate, but it's okay because this is my opinion. I think number 3 is this Gogeta. This Vegeta is worse than the Goku. He flips the Goku. Goku kinda sucks. He gets evasion, and like I keep mentioning, there's bosses that negate the evasion. So then, like, you don't even want to go to Goku because he's, like, not doing as well. Probably gonna stay in this Vegeta, but mind you, Goku stacks his defense. So, if you get a chance, what I like to do is I like to go to Goku and stack my defense more than the attack. Because more likely than not, you're gonna be Vegeta more than Goku. But don't get it twisted. Goku's active skill is top of the line. Probably it might be the best in the game. He nullifies the enemy from doing anything for one whole turn, and then he gets 3 turns of guaranteed evasion. Now, mind you, that is powerful, but then you get the bosses who don't let you evade, that just conflicts with him. Now, we look at the other side, when Vegeta actually fuses with Goku, the Gogeta is the more powerful fusion. It's true. He gives you a sensu bean. If you're locked on that turn, you can fuse, and then you get the fully recover HP, and he negates all negative effects, and that is incredibly crazy by itself. Then we talk about Gogeta. He has 60% damage reduction, super effective against all types, doing crits. His active skill is crazy strong. He gives everyone a buff of 4% attack and defense, and he makes everybody attack for effective against all types. And the problem with them is that's only for 4 turns. When that 4 turns is over, you're just left with Vegeta or Goku. This is why I'm mentioning the defense, because the defense is actually going to start to matter if more bosses are going to just disable your evasion. Like, you're just sitting there, like, you can't go in slot 1. No? Okay, so let's move on. Goku's number 2. So, you already know who's number 1, in my opinion. Number 1 is this Super Saiyan 4's Gogeta. I think they're so broken. Let's talk about Goku first. Goku is obviously better than the Vegeta in base. Obviously the Gogeta fusion is better than the Vegito. The Vegeta on the Goku side is very good. I think he's better than the other one. Honestly, but anyway, when they fuse, Vegito has his active skill. He can counter. His defense, for me, I have him at 69%. It shoots up to like 2 million, which is very high for just doing an active skill, like just immediately transforming. Like, that's without stacking with the Vegeta character. And mind you, the Vegeta character I feel like is better than the other Goku character. You're able to do a little more, and they have damage reduction. So, obviously the way it's meant is you put them in slot 1, and you put them in slot. But Vegito, when he does his active skill, he's number 1 in the game. For sure. He does his active, he makes it so everyone attacks him, he gets 60% damage reduction, 2 million defense, counters, doing crits, and not only that, he gains attack every time he does a crit. So like if you see a bunch of attacks on the screen, you just pop your active, boom, you put him in slot 1, let him eat up all those attacks, let him do his multiple ultra supers, because mind you, both of them do ultra supers only. He's slot 1, he gets attack and defense from his ultra super, and then he's hitting 40, 50 million crits or whatever, and they're all counters. Like, it's just insane. But that's only for 4 turns. Only for 4 turns. When these guys unfuse, like, we're gonna get content that they're not gonna be able to stay in those fusions. Like, you're gonna have to strategically put them, like, in places, and you're gonna have to actually think about when you want to fuse them. Because you only got 4 turns. Like, usually, now here's another thing. When you fuse with them, it's usually over. They probably only need 4 turns. But when we do get content like that Grade 8 Vegeta, that Grade 8 baby Vegeta in Ultimate Clash, when we start seeing characters like that, that's taking us 30 minutes to finish the run. Like, it took me 40 minutes to finish that fight. Vegeta, when he uses his active skill, he's the best in the game. But when Gogeta's just a better character overall. Now let's talk about why I have these guys number 1. Like, immediately, once they hit the field, 77% damage reduction. Dropping 4 or 5 supers. Their stats will be better. Dwarf these guys. Dwarf. Like, these guys, well, you can by turn 7, when they actually lose their buff, their defense is gonna be like 2 million, maybe 3 million, maybe before they fuse. Maybe 1 million or whatever. But that's not why. Like, that's not why. I mean, they also have the key thing, just like the other guys. They get it up to 100%, 10% per key. But when they fuse, they get 70% chance of countering any super. It's not just an unarmed super, it's any super. It's not a key-based super, it's any super. 70% chance of that happening. Not only that, when their HP is 50% or less, they get a guaranteed evade, it's not an evasion. It's countering the super. It's not an evasion. Not an evasion. It's countering the super. It's countering. It's countering. You know how powerful countering is? It's countering. And guess what? They could easily hit like 100 million. Well, you can't. 99 million. Literally, I hit 76 million on a crit. 1 counter. Now, on top of all of this, they are able to get damage reduction per rainbow key sphere. And what do? Change orbs to rainbow. Now, keep in mind, they do get a 50% damage reduction once, but they can also get damage reduction per key sphere, that's 10, and crit. And you know who else gives them another 10? This guy right here. So that's 10 plus, usually, let's just say you commonly get 2 or 3. That's 30% damage reduction plus 10. That's 40% damage reduction plus 10. That's 50% damage reduction, which is extremely rare, plus 10. Plus the extra defense this guy gives. And on top of all of this, they can foresee super attacks as long as they're on the rotation. And guess what? They don't unfuse in 4 turns. They don't unfuse. They stay Gogeta for the rest of the battle. You know how powerful it will be to have 2 Gogetas on each rotation and being able to see exactly where everybody is doing a super at? Oh, he's doing an unarmed super. I'm going to put this guy next to them because guess what? He's giving them Rainbow Key. Oh my god, these guys have 5 million defense. And they're gonna be getting 4 or 5 rainbow spheres a turn. Whoa! 50% damage reduction, and then guess what? If you got this guy in rotation, this is the ultimate fusion. This is the ultimate fusion. They're gonna make Giant A Power incredibly powerful. And him. But this rotation right here, like, you know, they might not link super well. I mean, this is obviously the best linking partner, I feel, them two. But, like, think about it. You can see the supers every turn. You have 2 of these. You have them both be the leaders. You have one on one each rotation. You're able to see the supers every turn. They have an unarmed super. You put him in front of them. 80% damage reduction with Gogeta. Hit him with the Ultra Super. Automatically nullify the super. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. It's not a chance. It's guaranteed. This Gogeta is insane. His stats, his ability to counter any super, his damage reduction, the ability to be next to this Goku. Now, mind you, this Goku could die. 4 or 5 supers, and you don't have to fuse them. You can fuse them whenever you feel like you need. When you feel like they have enough stats, you. And guess what? On their first turn, that Gogeta's out, 77% damage reduction. And then he gets the extra from the orbs, and then he gets attack and defense from the orbs, and then he can see the super attack. You could pivot any character you want into the slots you need. 70% chance. If you know you have the damage reduction and you can't die, guess what? He's going to be taking donuts, right? Why don't you put him in front of that super and see if he could counter it? 70% chance of countering it, hitting them for like 80 million. I have them at 69%. They hit a 76 million crit on a counter. Imagine if you're doing that on each rotation. You're able to see where everything is. How do you lose? Nothing is a surprise. Nothing, and mind you, it's only on their rotation. It is not limited. It's forever. For the rest of the battle. There's no condition on it. It is for the rest of the battle. 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 1 turn. Attacks effective against all types. What is he not doing? Extra defense. Changes everything to rainbow if he needs it. Damage reduction. 50% attack. 24 key, which won't be hard. This. Guaranteed. Well, that's the great chance, but guaranteed. 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 When the HP is 50% or less, they guaranteed do it. But you know what else that means? You know you have this in the pocket. You know where the supers are coming from. You keep this. You just keep it. Oh, they're gonna, like, oh, after a certain amount of turns, this guy's about to do a 99 million damage super that you can't avoid ever in the game. Unless you have this. 50% or less. You can strategically put this wherever you want. Like, oh, I feel like countering it now. Let me put them in slot 1. Let me put them in slot 3. Let me put them in slot 2. It's guaranteed. And they have this. They have this. You know how powerful that is? Guys, I don't think it's a question for me. I don't need to question it. In my opinion, I think they're the best. Right, once they enter the battle, they start doing work. They never stop. They just keep going. They don't unfuse. So guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys for watching. I would appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up. And if you don't like it, thumbs down it. Please subscribe. If you have not, hit the notification bell. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'm off this. Peace.